All right, next let's talk about layer masks and how they work with adjustment layers, because that's another one of the super powerful things about adjustment layers is that they automatically come with a layer mask. So that's really cool. On my 50th trip to Hawaii, I got to go snorkeling at Polo Beach and cruise around with this big old guy. It was pretty amazing. So let's download this picture. Again, you can do a save as or copy the image. Go to Photoshop, create new, make sure it's on clipboard, and hit create. By the way, I'm using 2017. I'm going to go ahead and paste that turtle in there. This time I'm not going to mess around with the layers. It's not really necessary. I like to organize my layers, but you don't have to. All right, so again, here's my layers palette, and I'm going to click on the Tuxedo Cookie or adjustment layer button, and let's play around with the black and white. So I'm going to go ahead and click on black and white. And first of all, you'll notice in the properties, you've got all these different color sliders. And the image went to black and white. If you need to adjust something, so for example, let's say I want the blue background to be a little darker, I can grab this little hand icon and just click and drag in a specific area. When I drag to the left, it gets darker. When I drag to the right, it gets brighter. So I can just kind of knock that blue down a little if I want to. So kind of fun. Not required, but you can. All right, so now let's talk about this layer mask thing. So on the adjustment layer, you get this big white box here, and that's what's called a layer mask. And I can mask or hide specific parts of the image, or I can reveal specific parts of the image. So for example, in this black and white, I want the turtle to be in color and everything else to be in black and white. So let me turn the eyeball back on there. So basically, I'm just going to paint a hole right here in the mask where the turtle is. And we do that with two colors, black and white. So you can see the mask already starts its life as a white mask, and we're going to just grab the black paintbrush and paint some black on here. So I'm going to come over to my toolbar. My toolbar is in double row here, and I've got my paintbrush. If I was in a single row, it'd be right underneath here above the clone stamp, and you probably have the spot healing tool brush. So here's the regular old paintbrush. Make sure it's not one of the mixer brushes or something else. So the regular old paintbrush. And let me go back into double here. And make sure that your colors are black and white. If you had some other color, like let's say you had red up there or something, why is this gray? Because I'm on a black and white adjustment layer. If I were here on the colored image, I could certainly make red. So don't freak out. All right, first of all, this is the default color button. It'll bring my colors back to black and white if I just click that. Or the keyboard shortcut is D for default color. So now I have black and white. And because you switch back and forth, another keyboard shortcut that's really super handy is X. Try hitting X and just look at these colors. What happens when you hit X? Look at those colors. X is doing what? It's just flip-flopping them. So it just switches them. So I actually keep my left hand on X when I'm painting on a layer mask. That way I can switch back and forth quickly and easily. Okay, so let's go back up to our black and white adjustment layer. Make sure that the mask has these little white handles on each corner. That means it's selected. And now we're going to come over here and we're going to just start painting. And you can see as I'm painting, it's revealing or hiding the black and white adjustment layer. Now, I'm going to keep my brush small and just kind of move along the edge of the turtle. Now this is where one of those Wacom Trod tablets would be so sweet. Unfortunately, on my laptop at home, I don't have one connected. I do have a touch screen, but unfortunately, I don't have access to the screen right now. So I just kind of made an outline. Now, when you're painting with a paintbrush, you can make your brush bigger or smaller with the bracket keys, and this is a real important keyboard shortcut I use all the time. So I'm using the right bracket key. It's right up to the right of P, the left bracket key and the right bracket key. So one makes it bigger, one makes it smaller. Practice that. Do that 200 times until it becomes automatic. If you're ever painting and you see this symbol right here, and you're like, well, why can't I see the size of my paintbrush? That's because you have caps lock on. So cap lock changes your paintbrush to the, I think it's called precise mode or some crazy thing like that. If you accidentally go too far, whoops, no big deal. You can just switch from black and white. So I'm going to switch back to white. I'm going to hit the X button, or you can come over here and hit X, and now I can just go right back. Okay, and by the way, this was in gray, so if I go back, you can see and paint back, it's giving me a little bit more vibrant color because I'm painting all the way back down. Another kind of fun thing on this picture I was thinking would be kind of fun is we can make some blue bubbles. So I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller so it's about the size of that, and boom, just click one time and make some bubbles. Maybe I'll make some small ones and some big giant ones, like he's blowing bubbles. There we go. Just have some fun with this, and you can see up here on my adjustment layer, I'm painting on this mask. Oh, here's another keyboard shortcut. If you hold Alt and click on this, you can actually see what you've been painting. So you can see where I was painting with gray versus black. And why was it gray? Because I had that red color I was messing around with earlier. And just hold Alt and click back on it. If you go too far like this, just switch back to white. So we just hit the X button, switch back to white. So adjustment layers are super cool, especially when you have a layer mask. So let me just undo that. Make me a cool colored turtle.